They say love makes you blind, but Machiavelli would laugh at that. Because blindness is a weakness, and in the game of power, weakness is a death sentence. You see, in today's world, manipulation doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it wears perfume, sometimes it smiles, sometimes it says, "I would never hurt you." And that's the trap. This is not a story about hate. It's a story about control, who has it and who loses it. And if you've ever found yourself chasing someone who plays you like a puppet, this right here is your awakening. So sit back, because tonight, Machiavelli teaches you how to stop being the prey and start becoming the player. Every relationship is a power dynamic disguised as love. Machiavelli once said, "Men are driven by two things, love or fear." But what happens when you're the one being driven by her attention, by her validation, by her approval? You stop being the driver, you become the vehicle. And that's how manipulation begins. Not when she deceives you, but when you surrender your emotional control. She doesn't have to be evil. She just has to be strategic. The moment she knows what makes you react, she owns your mind. So here's lesson 1. Control your reactions, because emotions are the strings and reactions are the puppeteer's grip. Pause before you respond. Observe. Study. That's what Machiavelli would do in court. He'd let others reveal themselves first, because silence is power. It makes the manipulator wonder what you're thinking, and that uncertainty breaks her rhythm. Ask yourself, do I lead this conversation or am I dancing to her tune? Here's something they don't tell young men. Every woman tests the boundaries of your mind, not always consciously but instinctively. It's in the small things. She ignores your text for hours to see how desperate you get. She flirts with others just to measure your jealousy. She praises another man just to watch your ego burn. These are loyalty tests, but not the kind you think. They're not testing if you're loyal to her. They're testing if you're loyal to yourself. Machiavelli would call these probes of weakness. A ruler who reacts emotionally to every rumor is not feared, he's mocked. Likewise, a man who loses control over a delayed text loses his throne. The Machiavellian response? Unbothered composure. Let her curiosity do the chasing. Remember, when you react, she leads. When you stay silent, she spirals. Control is not about domination. It's about emotional invisibility. She can't manipulate what she can't read. Your attention is currency. Your validation is her fuel. Machiavelli wrote that the people's favor is the foundation of power. In relationships, your attention is that favor. When you give it too freely, you become predictable. When you withhold it strategically, you become mysterious. This is psychological scarcity. It's what every manipulator fears most, the moment her influence stops working. So you must practice detachment, not coldness, but control. Don't text first. Don't over-explain. Don't reward bad behavior with attention. Instead, let your silence echo. Let her wonder what you're doing, who you're talking to, why you suddenly stopped chasing. Because curiosity creates desire, and desire creates power. Every manipulator operates through emotional warfare, praise, withdrawal, guilt, comparison. Machiavelli studied this centuries ago. He called it the art of governing hearts. So when she guilt trips you, she's not just expressing feelings, she's setting the battlefield. When she says, "You don't care about me anymore," she's not looking for comfort, she's looking for compliance. And here's the thing most men miss. You cannot negotiate with manipulation. You can only expose it. How? By refusing to play the game. A Machiavellian mind never argues emotionally. He observes, redirects, and speaks with calm precision. I hear what you're saying. I understand how you feel. But my boundaries stay the same. That's emotional dominance disguised as empathy. It's diplomacy with fangs. And when she realizes her guilt tactics no longer sway you, the spell breaks. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you really are. In relationships, masks are currency. She might wear the mask of innocence, vulnerability, or loyalty, but you must look past appearance and study patterns. A manipulator can fake emotions, but she can't fake consistency. So look for alignment. If her words and actions never match, you're not dating a person, you're negotiating with a strategy. And the only way to win that negotiation is to value your peace over her promises. Remember this: love without strategy is suicide. You can feel deeply, but you must think deeper. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been guilt-tripped into apologizing when you did nothing wrong? Have you ever chased someone who knew exactly how to keep you hooked? Drop a black heart in the comments if you've ever felt that pull. That emotional chess game where you knew she was winning but you couldn't walk away. Because in this video, we're flipping the board. The key is balance. Machiavelli wasn't emotionless, he was strategic with emotion. He knew when to show warmth and when to disappear into the shadows. If you're too cold, she loses interest. If you're too warm, she gains control. So you become both, the flame and the fog. Smile when it serves you. Disappear when it benefits you. Never give your full emotional playbook to anyone, because once she decodes your heart, she controls your mind. Machiavelli said, "A wise man does at once what a fool does at last." Don't wait until heartbreak teaches you strategy. The moment you feel yourself chasing, just stop. The moment you start explaining yourself, step back. The moment she tries to control your peace, go silent. Because silence is your weapon, distance is your armor. And control is the only form of love that survives the modern world. Machiavelli believed every ruler should know the hearts of men, not by asking but by mirroring. When a woman tries to manipulate you, she studies your weaknesses, your fears, your triggers, your insecurities. So what do? You study hers. You learn her emotional tells, the tone she uses when she's lying, the silence she uses when she's testing you, the fake softness before she asks for something. Then, you mirror them back. Not to mock her, but to show her reflection. If she withholds affection, you withhold energy. If she floods you with attention, you stay calm. Manipulators hate mirrors because they expose truth. Once you stop reacting and start reflecting, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is the death of manipulation. Control, Machiavelli would whisper, belongs to the one who can act without emotion and observe without fear. So practice this daily. Respond slowly. Speak less than she does. Let silence make her fill in the blanks. That's when people reveal themselves. Attachment is beautiful, but to a manipulator, attachment is leverage. Machiavelli wrote, "He who depends on others is lost." In relationships, that means if your happiness depends on her approval, she owns you. To be Machiavellian is to love without dependence, to care without craving, to stay even when you could walk away, and mean it. Detachment doesn't mean apathy, it means discipline. You can feel everything and still choose strategy over impulse. She cancels plans, you don't chase. She tests your loyalty, you don't explain. You keep your tone calm, steady, unreadable. That calmness becomes your power, because in the storm of her emotional tests you stand still, and stillness in chaos looks like dominance. Remember, a man who needs nothing can't be manipulated. A man who observes everything can't be deceived. Machiavelli said, "A prince must learn to be both the lion and the fox. The lion defends, the fox detects. That's how you must handle your boundaries." A manipulative woman will test limits through charm, guilt, or emotional collapse. She'll say things like, "If you really cared, you'd do this," or "Why are you acting different?" That's not love talking, that's control. The fox in you smiles and sees the pattern. The lion in you stands firm. You say calmly, "That doesn't work for me. I'm not changing my standards. If that bothers you, maybe we're not aligned." Notice, no anger. Because kings don't yell to prove power, they simply withdraw it. Boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They don't keep love out, they keep manipulation from getting in. Every time you hold a boundary, you teach her what kind of man she's dealing with. Not a boy chasing approval, but a strategist guarding his kingdom. Manipulators play short games, attention today, control tomorrow. But Machiavelli thought in years. He built empires on patience. So when she tries to bait you into quick reactions, guilt trips, jealousy, emotional chaos, you must think in seasons, not seconds. Ask yourself, if I react now, who gains control? If I wait, what does she reveal? A Machiavellian mind never needs instant gratification. He understands that silence today may expose truth tomorrow. Play the long game. Study patterns over months, not moments. Because what's done repeatedly is who they truly are, and once you see a pattern, you hold all the cards. Here's the darkest truth Machiavelli would teach you. You don't stop manipulation by being good, you stop it by being smarter. If she uses emotion to control you, use reason to control the emotion. If she exaggerates, stay factual. If she gets louder, speak softer. If she withdraws, you vanish completely. The goal isn't revenge, it's reversal. You're not punishing her behavior, you're retraining her mind. When she learns her tactics no longer work on you, she either evolves or she leaves. Both outcomes are victories, and if she ever comes back, you won't need to play defense, because now she knows she's playing with a king who reads moves like scripture. If you've ever felt your emotions twisted against you, comment "I see it now" if you've opened your eyes to the game. Because chess players know, every loss is a lesson, and every heartbreak is just training for your next move. The cruelest manipulator isn't out there. It's inside you. Your need to be wanted, your fear of being alone, your hope that she'll change. Those are the strings you hand to others, and then wonder why they pull. Machiavelli said, "Men should either be treated generously or destroyed." In modern terms, you either master your inner weakness or it destroys you. So start by studying yourself. What triggers your need for validation? What makes you chase? What makes you stay when you know it's wrong? Once you see the mechanisms inside your own mind, you can't be controlled by anyone else's, because the man who understands his own darkness can't be manipulated through light. Here's Machiavelli's code, modernized for you. Control emotion before emotion controls action. Reward loyalty, not desire. Never reveal your full intentions. Use silence as strategy. Detach faster than they can manipulate. This is not about being heartless. It's about protecting your heart with strategy. A woman can only manipulate a man who doesn't know his worth. Once you know your value, manipulation turns into noise, and you move through the chaos untouched. At the end of the day, power in relationships isn't about dominance, it's about awareness. Machiavelli never told people to destroy love. He told them to understand it, to see human nature for what it is, and to act accordingly. So understand this. You can love deeply and still protect your peace. You can care honestly and still guard your mind. And you can play the game without ever losing yourself inside it. Because the moment you stop needing control, you become impossible to control. If you're listening, you're already awakening. You're learning how the world really works, on how people move, think, and manipulate. So keep watching, keep studying. Because power isn't given, it's learned, earned, and protected. Drop a crown in the comments if you're ready to stop being the pawn and start becoming the player. Every manipulator believes they can outsmart you until you stop fighting back and start studying. That's the reversal, when the observer becomes the strategist. Machiavelli wrote, "He who knows the nature of the people becomes master of their nature." In your world, that means you stop asking why she did something and start noticing when, how, and what it cost her to do it. Observation replaces obsession. Patterns replace promises. Facts replace feelings. Once you operate from pattern, not pain, she loses her grip. So the next time she tries to provoke you, smile. Say nothing. let her see herself through your calmness. Because silence exposes louder than anger ever could. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must learn to wear masks, not to deceive for evil, but to protect his strategy. You can love deeply and still stay unreadable. You can be kind without being naive. The world will tell you that authenticity means showing everything. But power lives in mystery. Keep 20% of yourself hidden. That's your fortress, your secret chamber no one can touch. When she can't read your every thought, she can't weaponize your emotion. And when she can't predict your next move, she plays safe. That's control. Appear open, remain guarded. That's the Machiavellian balance. Charm is manipulation in its purest form. The difference is intent. Machiavelli said, "It is not enough to be good. One must appear good. Your presence should hypnotize. Your tone should calm chaos. Your words should sound deliberate, like chess moves. Smile when necessary. Compliment when useful. Use warmth the way a swordsman uses a blade. Precise, intentional, and never twice in the same spot." Charm disarms. Then once disarmed people reveal their motives. That's when you read them clearly. Charm isn't weakness, it's diplomacy, with teeth behind the grin. You can't be manipulated by someone who needs you more than you need them. That's why you build value, not just money or looks, but mystery, independence, ambition. Machiavelli said rulers must make themselves indispensable. So you become the type of man who can walk away and rebuild anywhere. That freedom makes your presence expensive. Every time you level up, your leverage grows. Leverage protects you more than love ever could. Never beg for loyalty. Make them earn your absence. When your worth becomes undeniable, manipulation dies from starvation. Withdrawal is not weakness, it's the ultimate punishment. Machiavelli wrote that sometimes a prince must withdraw to make the people remember his value. When you pull away calmly, without anger or announcement, the silence haunts them. You don't block, you don't explain. You vanish with discipline. Because absence creates demand, and when they realize your energy was the power source all along, they chase ghosts trying to replace it. Never announce your exit. Disappear like strategy, not emotion. The purpose of understanding manipulation isn't to become bitter, it's to evolve. Once you've seen the darkness, you don't stay there, you use it as armor. Machiavelli believed men are neither good nor evil, only driven by necessity. So you take the lessons, not the poison. You rebuild your composure. You use awareness to choose love from strength, not desperation. You can be strategic and soulful. You can protect peace without losing empathy. That's the new breed of power, heart of fire, mind of ice. If you've ever walked away quietly and watched everything start chasing you, drop ghost mode in the comments, because that's when you learn the rule. Control isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go first. Every manipulator becomes their own undoing when they face reflection. Mirror her energy, not to mock, to reveal. If she's inconsistent, match the distance. If she's calm, stay calmer. If she's dramatic, be silence personified. Mirroring turns manipulation into exposure. Eventually, she realizes the game no longer works because she's only playing with her own reflection. Machiavelli's wisdom condensed for the modern man. Detach before you depend. Reward respect, ignore games, never explain. Demonstrate. Love strategically, not blindly. Disappear when disrespected. You are not cold, you are calculated. You are not heartless, you are disciplined. Because power without compassion is tyranny, but compassion without power is self-destruction. In the end, remember this, Machiavelli never wanted you to control others. He wanted you to control yourself. When you master emotion, you master the battlefield of love. When you no longer fear losing anyone, you become the one everyone fears losing. So, walk with quiet confidence. Let your presence speak louder than your words. Never chase, never plead. and never apologize for choosing peace over chaos. Because in the modern age, the true Machiavellian doesn't conquer kingdoms. He conquers his own mind. He who commands himself commands the world.